Win like a monster with the new iSport sweat-proof athletes headphones. Available in-ear, on-ear, wired, and Bluetooth. Find your style at PLUGHITZlive.com/monster.
Alante here with PLUGHITZlive.com, a part of the Tech Podcast Network. This is day 4 of CES 2017. I'm at the PowerVision booth with this incredible guy. His name is Merlin Love. Let me say that one more time. The name is Merlin Love. You will never forget it. And we're here to talk about a wonderful device that they are showing off, and that is the PowerRay. So tell me a bit about the PowerRay.
So first and foremost, PowerVision, we're a company that started as a commercial UAV drone robotics company in China. And we're, a lot of people up and down the section of the hall are drone companies, and we think of ourselves as robotics. So we started making everything from fixed wing, long distance drones to single rotor helicopters to quadcopters that do power line inspection and agricultural spraying and rover robots that inspect tunnels. And over the last year, we've introduced a couple of new products, Power Egg, which is our first consumer-based drone, and it's super interesting. It's an egg-shaped, kind of a unique aesthetic appeal, along with the ability to control it through like a Wii gesture-based controller. So it's kind of taking the drone industry and looking at it from a different point of view, saying, hey, we all have a personal relationship with electronics. We all put cases on our cell phones. We all sticker up our laptops. And so for us, it's taking that step of saying elegance can be important too in our electronics. And at CES 2017 here, we're really excited to announce PowerRay, which is our first underwater submersible sub. UAV generally stood for unmanned aerial vehicle, and we redefined A. We added aquatic into that mix too. So we're really excited to bring it to market and show it off here. It's a pretty unique product compared to what we're seeing in the hall this whole show.
Now let me ask you, what inspired you guys to take these unmanned crafts from the air down below?
Well, the drone industry over the last 18 to 24 months has been, I think, one of the most interesting examples of compression in regards to a product category that I've ever been a part of in 20 years in consumer electronics and IT. It's gone from, a hot new tech that people had never seen before to this homogenization of everything flies, everything's safe, everything hovers, everything orbits and selfies and waypoints, and it all does the same similar stuff. And so it's really about accessorization and differentiation. And so it made sense for us to, instead of thinking of the next way that we might accessorize a quadcopter, besides the ones that we have where we've taken and changed the shape and changed the aesthetic, and go, where else can we integrate robotics into our everyday life? What's the next step? And I personally know that there's some 15 million boats between dinghy and 24 feet in the United States. And so it's a natural progression to say the next step for us is to take a drone and put it underwater. Take all that finite control that we've developed over the last 18 to 24 months, put it in the water, and then take that idea of accessorization and project out what 18 to 24 months is going to look like when maybe next year at CES 2017 there's 20 different subs, and now we're one of 20 instead of one of one. And what's that accessorization look like? And so for us, it was a natural fit to come out of the gate and engineer it as a fishing drone, to say not only is it a submarine, not only does it have an integrated 4K camera, not only can you take it underwater for your snorkeling, your snuba, your scuba, your Caribbean dives, your treasure hunts, your shipwreck dives, but now you can throw it in the lake in the middle of the country in Oklahoma and catch a bass with it. So you have the ability to not only integrate a fish finder into it, but a little hook holder onto it, and it's the reception for the product has been incredible. Just the general excitement has been incredible, and of course our booth featuring the mermaids has drawn a lot of attention. But the great thing is that a lot of people have stopped for the mermaids and then stayed for the product, and we've been recognized from PC Mag and Engadget and Gizmodo for the innovation that we presented here.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. So obviously it is called the PowerRay, so it was inspired by the animal, the Stingray. Am I correct?
Yeah. So, so I had a chance to, I was in Beijing for a meeting, and we were going over a product roadmap, and we actually were talking about the sub, and they hadn't come up with a name yet. And I was looking at original pictures of the thing, and I'm a lowly sales guy. My running joke, the show, is people have come up to me, it's like, do you work here? And I immediately respond, I have no responsibility here whatsoever. I'm not an engineer, but I'm, certainly proud to be a representative of the company. And so while I was in Beijing, they were like, we haven't come up with a name. And I said, it looks like a Stingray. We should call it PowerRay, because we have Power Egg and Power Eye. I said, we should call it PowerRay. And they're like, no, we don't have PowerRay. And I was like, okay. Okay, well, I guess not. And then they called me about 2 months later and they said, we're going to go, we like the name, we're going to go with PowerRay. And I was like, wow, personal professional bucket list. Check, named a product.
Dun, 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 dun.
But I think it's very fitting. I think the Stingray in and of itself is an elegant creature. The way that it moves through the water is, it's the closest thing you see in an underwater creature that looks like it's flying, right? The way that it has wings and it moves through the air. So I don't think it was the fact that I came up with a creative name. I think it's that it just happened to fit. I think it's, as a product, it flies through the water in such a way that it gives you that same kind of finite control that you might get out of a quadcopter just under the water, and gives you that same kind of experience where you can capture that stunning content of whatever the environment that you're in or whatever the sport that you're participating in, or just you and your family swimming around underwater. I suspect that when we release this and we start seeing YouTube videos and hashtag PowerRay, that we're going to see a lot of great shots of kids with goggles on under the water. And I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, so 90% of my drone footage, whether it be aerial or rover or GoPro or whatever it might be, is of me and my kids at the park playing. And so this is going to fit into that nicely, I think, where you're going to see a lot of family stuff.
Awesome. One thing I definitely do want to talk about are the features. Now, we kind of breezed over it pretty quickly, with the 4K resolution and things like that. But let's dive a little deeper into those features.
Sure. I'll show them to you. So on the front of the drone here, you've got an integrated 4K camera and 2 lights. So depending on the murkiness of the water and the body of water that you're in, you're going to have a different experience, obviously, in regards to what you can film. But, like I said, in regards to accessorization and wanting to put out something that helped you or aided the fishing industry, or really recreational fishing, we integrated on the bottom this fish finder, which is a sonar-based fish finder, and it's actually removable. So you can put a top on this, you can cast it in the water, it still transmits back to the app, and it will show you inside the flight app or the control app the general topography of the body of water that you're in, as well as the general size and relative position of fish in the area. So now not only can you find the fish, but you can drive to the fish. And then we included this, which is we call it a remote precision bait drop, which is a fancy way of saying that we can connect a fishing line from your fishing pole directly to here, dangle the hook, and watch live in stunning 4K as a fish comes up and snatches that bait and hook, which you can then reel in. So now not only at the end of the day are you going to have that great video where you're holding the fish, but you're going to be able to say, and now let me show you the fish. And
in beautiful 4K.
In beautiful 4K. In stunning 4K. But I think also for me, there's going to be that fun little element of, right now you cast a line into the water, and really great anglers are going to get that feel for the fishing line, or some of these nibbling, let me set the hook. But now you're going to be able to see it and go well, there's a marlin 3 feet behind this drone, but Nemo's nibbling on my bait. I don't want Nemo, I want the marlin. So let me just inch that guy forward a little bit. I'm going to try to put this thing right in that fish's mouth, because that's the one I want, not the one that's nibbling. So there's going to be a lot of fun with this too, I think, particularly in the content that's created.
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely imagine all of the content that'll show up on social media using this product. I mean, that's got to be a pretty incredible experience.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really gratifying at the end of the day to see what people come up and do with this stuff. I've been in the drone industry for almost 2 years now, and the difference between what people started capturing content with, where it was professional marketing agencies and professional drone pilots capturing, doing orbits around the Taj Mahal, is incredible. It's an amazing piece of footage, or a beautiful church, or an incredible college campus, or a building, or a beach, or whatever it might be. That content's stunning. But it's just as stunning to see, a really great piece of drone footage where it's, a family and kids playing at the park. For me, the thing that I show people on my Instagram more than anything else is a shot of my kids playing at the beach and a lovely pull-out shot where the waves roll in. And that little piece of drone footage, it's 15 seconds it's my favorite piece of footage that I've ever taken. It was the first time I flew a drone. And it was just that, I was like, wow, I don't mean to peak so early, but so that for me is what I think is going to be more gratifying than anything else, is the creative ways that people figure out how to integrate this technology into things that they see, where they put their creative mind into, man, I've got this platform now to shoot underwater. I've got a great idea how to implement, to use that, to change that, to put it in my swimming pool and get a shot that I've never seen before, put it in a lake that I've never seen before, take it to the ocean, take it on a boat, whatever it might be. I'm excited about what that's going to look like when we start shipping it and getting, hashtag PowerRay or hashtag PowerVision or hashtag underwater drone, whatever they end up using. Hashtag Merlin B, whatever it might be. But whatever they... Yeah.
Start the hashtag. We need to do it.
But whatever it might be, that's what's gratifying to me is that personal footage that gets out there. Because for me, it's always been about the best thing about the internet and the best thing about the social networking and the best thing about having these ability to do platforms, everything from podcasts to YouTube videos to Facebook Live to whatever it might be, is the everyday average person getting a chance to share their unique life experiences with the rest of the world, or a limited audience, or the greatest audience that they can gather or want. And with a platform like this and a platform like Aerial Drones, you get a chance to do that in a way that's unique to you and be able to express it in a creative way that you might not otherwise had with a camcorder or a cell phone video or a GoPro.
Absolutely, the beauty and joy of user-generated content.
Yeah, and creativity getting to flourish in a way that you might not have otherwise thought. Over the last 2 years, I've seen more drone footage where I've thought, man, that was so creative and so unique, whether it be in post-production or during the footage and filming itself, where I've been just blown away by someone's creativity and like, this is art, this is beautiful, and you ask them and they're like, no, I just like taking video, and you're like, no, man, you're an artist. I don't know if you know this, and you're an artist. And one of the I had a great conversation with a friend of mine, and I've got a bunch of different hobbies, a lot of them creative, and I said, I don't feel like an artist. And he says, if you think you're an artist, you're an artist. That's all you have to do is you have to say, I consider what I do, whether it be drone cinematography or photography with a standard camera or writing or poetry or whatever it might be. You just stop and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm an artist. And I think having another tool in that creative Rolodex to say, this is how I want to express my art, my creativity, my photography, take pictures of my kids, have fun underwater, have a good time, throw up a YouTube video, show people this amazing fish that I caught. I'm excited to bring a product like that to the world.
I absolutely agree. And one thing I would like to get to before we talk about pricing and availability and things of that nature is tethering.
Yeah.
So even though this is a drone by every definition, it is still tethered to you, but for good reason, correct?
Yeah, so RF Wi-Fi doesn't work underwater. Well, underwater you get two things. You get light and you get sonar sound. And because of the nature of control, you need immediate controllability of a thing, and you want to get a video feedback up from it. So it does have a tether. So physically, there's a little box that has to sit above the water, and that little box spits out Wi-Fi and RF to the control in your iOS or Android device. And then the tether goes down to the drone in a 100-foot length. It can go 30 meters down. We're going to sell longer lengths down the road, probably 200 or 300 feet, so you can get away from further out. But really, at 30 meters down or 100 feet down, that's obviously really deep. And 100 feet away from your relative position. So if you're on a boat, you can absolutely move the boat and get 100 feet away. But the cool thing about having the fish finder being something that's removable, but still integrates wirelessly with the app, is that before you even put the drone in the water, if you're looking for fish, you can just pull that thing out and chuck it in the water. It floats, drive by, pick it up, and be like, I know there's fish. The fish finder will detect fish 40 meters below it. So if you're just looking for fish, great, throw it in. If you're just looking to have a good time and capture that content, your kids snorkeling or scuba diving or whatever it is, 100 feet is probably going to do you just fine.
Most definitely. Awesome. So let's, the last thing I want to touch also before getting into price and availability is you do have an integration with VR.
Yeah, so, thank you for reminding me, my gosh. So controllability and easeability and getting people into robotics is something that's really important to us in regards to making it accessible, easy to control, easy to use. So with PowerReg, we introduced Maestro, which is a gesture-based control. And kind of one of the unique experiences about being underwater is that we don't generally get to experience that kind of environment. We get to experience as us if you put on a snorkel mask or a scuba mask and do that. But not everybody gets to do that. So
no, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I'm afraid of one.
I'm afraid of wetsuits. So we wanted to integrate that experience. So we offer a set of VR goggles that allow you to look through the first-person view camera. But taking it one step further, we took the gesture-based technology from our Maestro controller and put it in the headset. So now not only can you see out the first-person view camera, but you can control the drone through head movements. So you can move up, move down, move left, move right, and actually, for all intents and purposes, swim with the fishes in a VR environment in stunning 4K.
That's and that sounds like a beautiful and unique experience. So let's get into the hard-hitting questions that all of our viewers at home and everybody wants to know, and that is price point, availability, and where we can find this beautiful, elegant piece of machinery.
No comment. No, I'm just kidding.
And that wraps it up.
So pricing, I don't have a comment. We're still working on pricing. Because we're unique in the industry, it's trying to find that sweet spot of making it accessible to as many people as possible while still obviously bringing a new category.
Still have to make money, of course.
Yeah, of course. But also making it a low enough price that it's accessible to just about everybody. We don't want it to be a product that only someone who owns a 20-foot boat owns. We want it to be able to have a family be able to purchase it. So we're going to set the price at a reasonable level that you might find a quadcopter that you'd find at a big box store. Availability, we're going to go into pre-sale on February 27th on our website, powervision.me, as well as through some of our retail partners, probably bnhphoto.com and amazon.com. And then shipping worldwide in the spring sometime.
That is awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. You're amazing.
Thank you very much, man.
And for all of this content and more, and remember, Merlin Love, please stay plugged in to PLUGHITZlive.com.